Welcome into another episode of Chic and Ball. I'm your host, ElzdaTruph, and on today's show, we got part 2 of our top 10 freshman list. This time, we going from 20 to 11, starting at number 20 with Grace Slaughter. The best way I can describe Grace Slaughter and her game is consistent. She will give you the same level of play from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. As you can see, she playing for the Missouri Tigers, but as a freshman, she started 29 out of 30 games. And she a legitimate guard at 6'2". But when I watch Missouri play, they don't really give her ball handler responsibilities. She didn't even average an assist last year. But the main reason I call her consistent is her percentages. 47% from the field, 37% from 3, 80% from the free throw line. Now those ain't freshman percentages, those are more like junior, senior percentages. And don't forget, she play in the SEC. Y'all put so much emphasis on the SEC, so give my girl her flowers. She gave the Missouri Tigers 11.5 points on 33.5 minutes per game. This upcoming year, I want to see her get more ball handling responsibilities because at 6'2", she can see over everybody on the court. She could put those players in position to score. They just need to develop her as a playmaker. Coming in at number 19, we got a player from a team that they love to hate, the Duke Blue Devils. Her name, Oluchi Okananwa. Oluchi Okananwa hustles her ass off. I mean, she's like Angel Reese in a small body. As a point guard at 5'10", she didn't start none of the 34 games she played in, but coming off the bench, she averaged 6 rebounds and 2 on the offensive end. She's also given the Duke Blue Devils a steal a game, shooting 48% from the field and 35% from 3. And I know this about Oluchi, but I want to take a little bit of time to talk about Kara Lawson, because a lot of people are scared to criticize her and all former players that turn coaches because they just think, hey, they had a great career. Who are we to question them? But her starting Jadyn Donovan, who's completely played terrible and not lived up to her recruiting class number, for me, that means she's trying to play favorites or she's trying to do something that just can't be done. To me, I don't care where ESPN rank you. They had Jadyn Donovan ranked top 5 in her recruiting class, and she played bottom 5 in the recruiting class. Coach Kara Lawson should have pulled her for Oluchi, and they probably would have had a better season, but she stuck with Jadyn Donovan, and that led to a terrible season from the Blue Devils. But in closing, Oluchi is a really good player. She averaged 9.7 points, and I can assure you that's going to go up a lot over the next couple years. Coming in at number 18, we stand in the SEC. This time we got the Alabama Crimson Tide forward, Essence Cody. Essence Cody is one of those players with a world of potential, but unlike Grace Slaughter and Oluchi Okananwa, we talked about them being consistent. Essence Cody is very inconsistent, but she got all the potential to be one of the best forwards in the nation. She kind of reminds me of Tamari Key, the former center for the Tennessee Lady Volunteers. She can score, she can block shots, rebound, but she just seemed like she don't really want to be the best player. Essence Cody is 6'4", great touch around the basket, shoot 45%. She's a decent rebounder at 6.5, but I think that she should get way more rebounds than 6.5. But to be honest, it balances out a little bit because she averages 2 blocks per game. She need to do a better job at staying on the floor as well because she's getting 3.5 fouls per game, so they usually got to take her out very early in the first half. But I love her build. She's bigger than most players at her size. I think she should learn how to play a little bit more with her back to the basket, because if she could become punishing down there, start getting some double teams on her, start kicking it out, Alabama can start winning some games. Coming in at number 17, a member of the Pac-12 All-Freshman team, Arizona Wildcat player Jada Williams. Jada gonna be a bucket when she finally figure it out. She only 5'6", but she play like a pit bull. I don't like the fact that she only shot 35% from the field and 26% from 3, but that pit bull mentality, she just gonna keep on coming and coming. Despite her height, she is not afraid of contact. And when she gets to the free throw line, she hits her free throws, 85% free throw shooter. She played the passing lane very well. She only averaged 9.5 points because her field goal percentage was up and down. But she performed pretty well in all the big games, and Arizona did get to the tournament, but they got booted in the round of 64 by Syracuse. But leading up to the tournament, she went off for a season high of 23 against Stanford. Now Cam Brink didn't play in that game, but Kiki Iriafen did, and she had 21 and 15. Despite that performance, Arizona won that game led by Jada Williams, giving Stanford their 4th loss of the season, and that game made Arizona 15-12. Coming in at number 16, a player of the Big 12 all-freshman team. Let's take a trip to good old Ames, Iowa and talk about way downtown Addy Brown. Addy Brown has become the most important player for the Iowa State Cyclones. She was their leading rebounder, second in assists, and she also made the second most three-pointers on the team. And I said way downtown Addy Brown because that's where she be shooting it from. Such a clean release, it looked like it's going in every time. If she get any kind of open look, you can consider it money. She gave the Cyclones 13, 8, and 5. She's pretty much a point forward, a small forward's body with a point guard's mind. Now, despite Addy's heroic performance against Stanford in the round of 32, she didn't really perform well against the higher-ranked teams. Well, I don't want to say she didn't perform well. Let's just say she didn't bring the scoring because she always coming with the rebounds and the assists. But I think as she grows, she'll be able to get faster and a little bit better on defense, and that'll also help her out on them tough shooting nights and being able to get to the rim. Now she's going to have to share ball handling responsibilities with Emily Ryan, who decided to come back for her 5th year. But seeing that Emily Ryan wants to be a coach, I think this can only help Addy Brown and what she's going to become. And with that, coming in at number 15, teammate of Addy Brown, all Big 12, all Big 12 freshman, and all Big 12 tournament player, Audi Crooks. I know I said Addy Brown is the most important player, but this is the best player on the team. She occupies so much space on both ends of the floor, but just to talk about her offense first, if she get the spot down low, all it takes is a nice entry pass and you got a 90% chance of getting the assist. She not gonna wait, she not gonna left and right you, she gonna get it and go right up over her shoulder. And then on the other end of the floor, without it being the defensive 3-second rule, she can kind of just occupy the paint and it's pretty much impossible to just go right through her. She keep all the guards out on the perimeter, they taking jump shots while she down low boxing out. And I seen y'all comments talking about how she should have been on the first freshman list. I'm gonna be real with y'all, I really don't like criticizing players, but sometimes you do gotta point out players' flaws. And as great as Audi Crooks is for college basketball, I'm just not sure how her game will translate to the pros. I feel like I've seen this before with Courtney Paris. Even Alyssa Pilley is having a hard time getting on the court, and she's even more dynamic than Audi Crooks. At the pro level, you cannot just sit paint. She gonna have to be able to move from left to right. And when you can't do that, they gonna be getting past you and getting layups real easy. You can't hide in the WNBA. You can kinda hide at the college level because the players is not as skilled. Despite what anybody try to say that the levels are comparable, it is not. Nowhere near. And I think Audi Crooks is gonna be an amazing college player. She gonna break all kind of records at Iowa State. And I really think we should just love her while she's here and enjoy how amazing her game is at this level. We're going to need a little bit more time to evaluate how she's going to be in the pros. But now let's keep it moving to an ACC all-freshman. NC State Wolfpack's Zoe Brooks, coming in at number 14. You really got to be deep in them women's college basketball trenches to know about Zoe Brooks, because she's playing behind two of the best guards in the nation, Isaiah James and Sanaya Rivers. But I'm going to be honest, she's just as good. She's just not starting. She gave the Wildcats 9, 4, and 4 in 26 minutes per game. And she got such a clean dribble move, she almost able to get to anywhere on the court, and she can finish with both hands. I like the way she play on defense. She really go out there and try to ball hawk steals. She's really one of the main reasons NC State kind of took off this last season. But because she was playing behind two of the top personalities in college basketball and being a freshman, she really didn't get the shine or the time on the court that she really deserved. Now, to be fair, she did start in 7 games, and in one of those games, she recorded a triple-double. In another game, she had a double-double, 13 and 11. She could be dynamic as a passer. She could be dynamic as a scorer. Once coach let her off that leash and let her loose, we might start seeing one of the best players in college basketball. The next player we got on this list is one of 2 freshmen to make the All-SEC team. The first freshman was Hannah Hidalgo. The second freshman from the Virginia Cavaliers, Kymora Johnson, coming in at number 13. She quickly became the best player and the go-to player on this team. Coach put the ball in her hand from day one and she ain't put it down. Led the team in points and assists. The team only finished with a 500 record, so hopefully they can get some more talent in there and the team can get some more wins. But she another one of those players that's buried on the team that's not very good. But she played her best games against the best teams in the conference, including a career-high 35 on Florida State. She scorched North Carolina for 25. She went off on Virginia Tech twice. First time 24-8, next time 21-8. And y'all know I love big game players. She's also a solid rebounder, even had a 10 rebound game against Syracuse. Now the team gonna be losing their second best player, Cameron Taylor, second leading scorer and leading rebounder of the team. Shout out to her, she finished her 5th year and she moved on. But let's see if the team can replace her with somebody as comparable or hopefully better. Coming in at number 12, we got the Big East Rookie of the Year, UConn Huskies Ashlynn Shade. Ashlynn Shade won Big East Freshman of the Year simply because she capitalized on just about every opportunity she got. Ashlynn Shade didn't even start the first 4 games of the year, but she was playing so good and so efficient, they had to put her in the starting lineup. And yeah, of course there were injuries, but she still took advantage of the opportunity. And from then and there, she took off. Throughout the entire season, she shot 61% inside the 3-point line, and 36% from the 3-point line, 91% from the free throw line. So she was just money all around the court. The reason she's not higher up on this list, to be noted, she didn't play well against the top-ranked opponents. She got bageled against Duke, she only had 5 against USC, only had 5 against Iowa, shot 6 of 19 against South Carolina, but she piled up the efficiency and the stats on the bad teams and she won Freshman of the Year. And that's no slight to her because she is a really good player. I'm just saying it would have been nice to see her drop at least a 20 ball on one of them top teams. Going into this next year, with Aaliyah Edwards moving on and Nika Mule, she gonna have a whole lot more responsibility, so we'll see how she improved. And now, the top player on today's list, coming in at number 11, another player from the UConn Huskies, KK Arnold. KK Arnold had a very up and down year. She didn't do quite enough to impress the voters to get Big East Freshman of the Year. That went to her teammate, as we just mentioned. But I think her game overall is way more well-rounded than Ashlynn Shade's. She's a far better defender and ball handler. Her scoring just wasn't efficient. If she can fix her efficiency numbers, she gonna be a bucket. When I watch her play, she remind me a lot of Jewel Lloyd. And not the WNBA scoring champion Jewel Lloyd. I'm talking about that young Notre Dame Jewel Lloyd. She got a long way to go, but I can see the potential. And she got that dog in her. But to be real, she missed a lot of easy layups, shot poorly from the free throw line. But those are all things that you can work on. Just by the law of averages, being a 5'9" guard, you can't be the worst free throw shooter on the team. You got the ball in your hand all the time. She got the dribble move to get to the rim constantly, so she gonna need to hit and she can really start showcasing some top tier talent. And UConn gonna be so loaded at guard next year with AZ Fudd coming back, Ashlynn Shade, KK, then they got Caden Samuels, and Caitlin Chin coming in from Princeton. Make sure you watch out for her on our sophomore list coming up, but KK Arnold gonna be the one to come out on top. That's just how I see it playing out. But there you have it, our top 10 freshman list part 2. Nobody scouts the underdogs like us. You ain't gonna hear no players talking about these players besides me. But I promise you they gonna start getting some shine this coming up next year. But thank you for everybody for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed the commentary. Please share the video with your friends. Like, comment your thoughts. Give us any feedback. We would greatly appreciate it. But again, thank you for your time. I'm ElzdaTruph for PR&M. Talk to you on the next one.